Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at Kritika Online, or just Kritika if you prefer, but that does bring up an interesting issue. Kritika is developed by All M, and published by the kings of the MMO spin doctors, Enmasse, who you might know from Terra and ZMR. Kritika just finished up its closed beta, and with no word on when open beta will arrive, let's take a look at the flashy brawler and see if it's worth waiting for. So let's get the busty, elongated, torsoed elephant in the room addressed right away. Yes, Kritika is also a mobile game, but this version of Kritika is not a port of the mobile version. As you can see here, despite sharing a universe, characters, and classes, the mobile version plays like every other mobile hack and slash out there, including a play the game for you auto button. The tactics, movement, interface, and application of skills in combat are far different from the PC version. And for starters, the graphics and loading times are way better. Okay, I'm not being entirely fair there, but yeah, this game looks like it would have been the darling PS2 hit of 2004. Models and textures tend to look very low resolution, even on higher settings. Not that the character designs have issue. The stages are also pretty lackluster, but there's some cool effects and environments thrown in on occasion, and they're over with fairly quickly. NPC artwork is interesting, and not for all the obvious reasons. I mean, did you see the torso on that character I showed earlier? It's like she was born with 4 extra ribs. They still don't reach the level of abominations I've seen in Tree of Savior, but many a laugh was had going over the FanKit's artwork folder on stream. At least the design is very consistent with this game, unlike a very comparable game, Dragon Nest, which had beautifully textured character models and environment work, and the hands-down worst and creepiest flat, low-res face textures I'd seen in any game to this day. So while Kritika may look it's a consistently designed kind of The music in this game is a thing, a wondrous thing. My show theme is about the furthest thing from this game's soundtrack I can put here, but I'll save the real soundtrack for a potential actual review. It's probably the most intense and outright screaming guitar rock I've heard in any game, where only the town songs will calm the hell down. It's very reminiscent of the Guilty Gear soundtrack, with tons of grinding guitar riffs that just never let up, though it's not quite at the same level as Daisuke Ishiwatari's stuff. I don't want to trigger any Anji Mito cosplayers or anything with my plebeian musical comparisons, but I love this kind of music, and I will admit I'm a complete sucker for this kind of crap. Haters gonna hate. Speaking of hate, I was really not that much into this game when I first played it. I tried the Gun Mage first of the 4 classes and had a miserable time of standing still and just spamming my skills with music that just betrayed the non-action I was performing. It wasn't until I gave the Reaper a whirl that my attitude changed fast, as the class was a ton more fun for me to play. And when I got my head around attacks, movement, combos, and dodging, I was having a blast rounding up enemies, stun-locking them to death in massive groups, and darting around the field with ridiculous speed. While I spent most of my time as the Reaper, eventually upgrading it to the Valkyrie class, with its very fluid stance-switching mechanic, I did dabble in the Warrior class, who felt like playing a steamroller with its sheer power output, and the Rogue, who I managed to reach the most ugu of kawaii class changes as a literal catgirl fighting style called Cat's Paw. Until the servers shut down on me, and I forgot to record that. Maybe I'll save the stream footage. One interesting thing I'll note about this game is that it seems, at least in the classes I'd played, that enemies will kinda hit like trucks. Granted, I was playing each stage on hard for the better drops, and though the regular enemies were breezed through like most Dynasty Warrior playthroughs, elites would take off massive chunks of health, and enemies are not afraid to stun-lock you if you make a mistake. And the bosses have some surprisingly interesting and intricate mechanics. Let's say that once you fight the Aeronaut, you can expect that kind of fight for a decent while. Death does come easy in this game, and limited revive tokens are definitely a thing. You can also outfit yourself with plenty of gear drops and a simple upgrade and crafting mechanic. The game flow is about what you'd expect if you're familiar with the subgenre. Head around town, collect quests, choose a stage, complete stage once, twice, or thrice with new quests each time, and move on to the next area. It wasn't quite as repetitive as early Vindictus, but the deeper I got into the game, the more I would tend to have to repeat a stage, and I can imagine this pace would be a lot slower in an open beta or launch status. While the action remains constant and flashy, one weirdly common feature is the flash of black screen that interrupts every transition of a stage, which is admittedly flow-breaking, but I kinda tuned it out after a while. Unfortunately, I didn't venture into a dungeon with any party, as honestly I didn't feel the need to, but the end-of-stage loot card bonus is given first choice favor to whoever's deemed MVP from your group, while the remaining party members are given the rest of the loot cards randomly. Though, considering each loot card is concealed before you make your choice, that's more like being given first pull at a slot machine. Random is still random. I also never got a chance to try out PvP, as I feel it was level locked, or if it wasn't, it didn't seem very easy to find. The community seems obsessed with it though, so I look forward to being raffle-stomped by Adderall-addled min-maxers when the game goes live again. A major note of concern might come from the cash op, as while plenty of cosmetic outfits exist, this game did what plenty other beat-em-up MMOs have done, and allows you a choice of stat boosts on purchased costumes. I was able to locate an NPC later in the game that let you obtain these same costumes with their own choice of stat boosts through in-game means, but I'm not sure that'll be enough to keep the PvP players from howling into the pay-to-win. We'll see how this plays out when things go live. I'll just say it. Rough start and laugh-worthy art aside, the longer I'm away from this game, the more I miss it. I'm not 100% certain if the interest for a full episode would be here, but I'm pretty tempted to give it a full look once open beta hopefully rolls around. Grindstone seemed pretty on the fence about this game, but this is the most fun I've had with a beat-em-up MMO since Dark Blood, and at least Enmasse seems the type to be keeping this one around for a lot longer than that game. I mean, hell, ZMR's still around. Think I should give this game a full episode treatment? This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.